Hey, this is my part 2 of my job therapy session and giving me a purpose. So we're just after Easter on Tuesday, and last Thursday I went for an interview with a well-known business. They've been going since 1905. I've done my due diligence on that business. Went along. Did I want the job? Probably not. But when I went there, the first interview was with a guy that I'd already met before, and the second one was the same guy I'd met before, and his boss. And his boss, what a cock. What an absolute cock. Within the first 10 seconds of me walking in there, he told me that he'd split from his wife, who lived in Teddington. And I'm like, what is... I guess he said that because he knew that I came from around that area anyway. But I was just like, why are you sharing that with me? Anyway, through the interview stage, all that guy did was play with his hair, look on his phone, look out the window. It was obvious that he didn't want me to be there. And I honestly wanted to turn around and say, like, why am I here? Like, you're not interested. So let's just call it a day and stop wasting everyone's time. The freaking meeting was down in Stansted, which from me is about 2 hours. So it's 2 hours there, 2 hours back. That's diesel. That's adding extra mileage to my vehicle. The residual value is going down on the basis that I've travelled there. All right, I could have got a train, but equally that would have been more expense. But anyway, so long and short of it is, I sent them an email at the end of it and basically told them what I thought of them in terms of their interviewing style. And I'm pretty late. I wasn't rude by any means. I just literally turned around to them and said, your brief for the presentation was wrong. In terms of it wasn't specific enough. Your competency questions were very generic. They weren't related to the job. And thirdly, your matey boy CEO, who was playing with his hair, was a complete wanker. But in a nice about way, that's what I said. Anyway, the next day, they rang me. And I'm like, oh no, this was terrible. I was like, do I answer the call or not? And I thought, oh God, it was... Anyway, I answered the call. And the first interviewer basically was telling me, or justifying the reasons for the presentation and how it was written, the reason for the competency test. But funnily enough, he never mentioned anything about matey boy playing with his hair, which I thought was hilarious. But anyway, he then said, obviously we're not taking you further. No shit, Sherlock. No, because equally, I didn't want to work for you anyway. You're so anal. You've been going since 1905 and you're still pretty anal. Anyway, that was that. So, oh, my dog's having a drink. Anyway, so that was that. So, last week I equally applied for a couple of jobs, car auction businesses. I worked in the car auction business for 7 years and was really quite successful at it. Anyway, so I thought, well, it's not what you know, it's who you know type thing. So I applied for one of them and it was a rejection straight away. I'm like, on what basis? I've had 7 years experience and you've said no? Like, are you mental? Like, why? What's that all about? So that was that. Anyway, the other two that I interviewed for, or sent my CV over for, they've said, well, not yes, but we've moved on to the next stage. So the next stage is, first one is to do a video interview. I have to do a pre-prep interview, and the questions are things like demonstrate your communication skills, work on your own as part of a team, ability to meet and exceed sales targets, usual shit, But yeah, I can do all that. Communication skills. I used to work for a company that did traffic and travel, so I did traffic and travel for BBC Northampton, TalkSport, and absolutely loved that job. And would go back there tomorrow. However, it's not sustainable to the point that it will cost me more travelling from Northampton than it will do in terms of actually paying the mortgage. So there you go. So that's that. So one of them is a video, which I need to get back to on Thursday, and then next Wednesday I've got a face-to-face. They've given me a brief. I've got to do another presentation on how I do an account review, which, to be honest with you, should be pretty easy, as I've been doing it for like 25 years. Although I say 25 years, look at me. I'm moving my eyebrows up and down. I know, I had Botox last week. How bad's that? Like, literally, it's not moving, but I'm going fillers next time, because I need this to be moved up, and happy days. So that's that. So a couple of other challenges that I've got. So I'm nearly into my overdraft. I've got no hot water. I don't know why. I've checked the boiler. I've got no fucking idea what I'm doing. I turned it on and off, meaning that, well, you turn everything on and off, don't you, to make it work? Although Alexa doesn't, because she's fucking useless. I've now got a wasp nest outside the front of my door. Tried to block it up, but then Googled it, and it said, do not, whatever you do, under any circumstances, try and block it up. So I need to find a wasp person to come and sort that out. One of my dogs is not well. He cost me £300 last week in order to try and find out what's wrong with him. They can't find out what's wrong with him. So we've got another blood test tomorrow for another £100, which then properly takes me into my overdraft. My mortgage is due on the 28th. So I've got to transfer some cash, which will definitely put me into my overdraft. And I've got no idea how much Barclays are going to charge me, but I imagine it's not going to be tuppence. But anyway. So, I guess the summary is we've got 2 interviews to go for. We've got to smash those in order to be able to start, where are we? Like May sometime. But we'll see. Anyway, speak to you soon.